This is a KinnPorsche podfic of When Everything Is Over by Solitary Bird, read for you by Solitary Bird. This fic is rated T for post-breakup hurt. Kim's love still burned, but now it's tempered by the pain of knowing that they're never getting back together. Not that Chay really thinks that them not getting back together has really sunk into that idiot's brain yet. Porchay's love fizzled the moment he found out Kim had been using him. The younger hadn't left his room in 7 days. His older brother was currently standing outside the door, threatening to knock it down. Porchay couldn't hear him over the sounds of the game he was playing on his phone. The simple mechanics kept his thoughts from wandering. If he lost control of them, there was no telling what would happen. A certain man's guitar collection might not be safe if he didn't maintain a rigid grip on his sanity. He knew where they were, how to get them, and exactly how devastating the destruction Chay was barely holding himself back from would be. As amusing and relieving as actually finally letting go of that tightly balled anger would be, Porchay wouldn't do that to his older brother. He had been through enough. Porchay knew enough to know that he wasn't aware of the vast majority of things that had happened whilst Porsche had been away. He probably would never know, but he could see the weight that had settled on his shoulders. Porsche didn't need to deal with his younger sibling's breakup. Breakup didn't even feel like the right thing to call it because what had they been, whatever they had been, never existed. It was all a carefully orchestrated lie. Porchay pulled the blankets he was rolled up in closer around him, and he groped down the side of the bed to find his phone charger. The low battery warning notification flashed before his eyes, and he swore. Once again the charging cable had unplugged itself, and he hadn't noticed. Something was wrong with the connection in his phone. It shouldn't fall out this easily. At some point he'd have to go get it looked at. One of the bodyguards that littered the building had told him something about repairs when they'd taken all of his electronic devices to make them safe when he first moved in. Kim's barrage of messages, where he tries to explain himself over and over and over again, has ended. For now, Porsche's entire internet presence is littered with the youngest Tirapanyukun's messages. There isn't a platform he hasn't infiltrated. Not even the site where he reads K-pop idol group Hurt Comfort Fix. Kim finds every comment he's ever posted, every fic he's bookmarked, and chases him through the chaotic assortment of stories Porchay has found comfort in. It's all imagination that helps him slip away from the reality of the pain he's currently really not coping with. Of course his hero would do anything for him, and all that it would take was Porchay opening his bedroom door. Just open the door. But he couldn't. Chay cringes as he sees the comments on every song he's ever uploaded to SoundCloud. It's not with Kim's official Wik account, never the official one, but enough of the die-hard fans that up until recently Chay would have counted himself one of, have identified Wik's most used alt. It's the alt he uses when he wants people to know that it's him, but Kim has the wiggle room to deny it. The account his agency holds their hands up about. They can't stop him posting, and they won't officially claim that it's actually Wik posting on it. Now, not only is he being harassed by an ex that isn't really an ex, but also by fans curious why their star is publicly going crazy on the social media of some no-name singer. For a while it's rough because the more unhinged fans don't hesitate to send him death threats. They see the fan projects he still hasn't deleted from his YouTube account and call him a successful fan. Chay used to think of himself as one back when he'd been getting those solo lessons on guitar, before he thought he'd become something more. His music feels poisoned now. Vindictively, Porchay wants to delete everything, every picture, every song, all the videos, entire accounts. The urge to scrub away his very existence from the internet is very tempting. Kim can't follow him if there's nowhere to go, nowhere to find a man that no longer exists. Porchay has to know someone that deals with cybercrime, hacking or something. Surely the mafia has its fingers in the digital world too. It would be very weird at this point if they didn't. You can hear Porsche still knocking on at his door, now over the sounds of the game. Ignoring his here feels cruel. Porchay knows that Porsche had to find a way to make enough money to cover the gambling debt of their uncle, but at the very least he could have let him know he would be in danger too. Chay doesn't know if he can forgive anyone for the positions he's been put in over the past few months. He still half expects to wake up and find himself snuggled up against his tipsy here, whose red-hot body stinks of the bar again. There were many mornings where Porsche had somehow ended up wrapped around him. Usually those were bad nights at the bar. Chay would hear kids sanitize snips off later when he came back from school. But he's not a kid anymore, and he doesn't appreciate how everyone seems to think that he's too stupid to see their lies. Kim wants to try to convince him that the level of subterfuge their not relationship is acceptable, that he shouldn't be mad about it, that of course Kim needed to fake date his brother's lover's minor brother in order to get intel on that minor brother's older brother who happened to be his brother's lover. There was no way this tech genius could have found out said information in any other way. Apparently. This reminder of how tech-savvy his ex-not-boyfriend is makes Chay worried that actually Kim is the tech guy. That would potentially make this all even worse than it is already. Porchay sighed. It was best not to think about him, not to think of the way his arms had felt wrapped around him, how safe Chay had thought he was when they were together. Staying in the same house as this lying idiot was not helping. Kim was only meant to be here temporarily, but not having an end date to his stay made even the thought of opening his door feel like he was inviting him in. He was probably going to kick said door in at any moment to see if he was alive, but Chay couldn't bring himself to do anything other than slowly move his index finger around the screen of his match 3 game. The 3 small flowers became a bigger flower. That flower merged with 2 other flowers and became an even bigger flower. His dragons flew around the map collecting items that he could turn into different higher power items to get more dragons to collect more things. He didn't have to think about anything. Wrapped in the bedclothes and with the sounds of excitement from his growing collection of dragons, Porchay could almost believe that none of this had happened. At least he could until the body of Porsche's new boyfriend and brother of Chay's own personal mess came flying through the space where his door used to be. He wondered whether he would get away with pretending to sleep, but 6 bodyguards came barreling into his room through what remained of the door. They picked him up, duvet and all, carrying Porchay to the family room to face the consequences of his isolation. Kim better not be there. If he's there, Porsche's plan is to just start screaming. Throwing hands wasn't off the table either. He has no plans to reconcile. They are over. Even if they never started, they're over. He never wants to see Kim again. The end. Thank you for listening.